They've fed you a lie so seductive, so pervasive, you've built your life around it. Be yourself, they say. Happiness, freedom, purpose, they all fall into place only if you find yourself. It's the gospel of our age, preached by influencers, self-help gurus, and glossy ads, promising authenticity as the key to a meaningful life. But what if this is a myth or a trap designed to keep you chasing a shadow that doesn't exist? When you strip away the roles you play, colleague, friend, partner, what's left? A radiant core of authenticity, or a disorienting void that makes you question everything? This is the paradox they don't want you to see. That what they're promising you isn't liberation. It's a leash. It's a system that thrives on your endless search for a self that's always just out of reach. They've sold you the idea that somewhere beneath your daily masks, that is, your job title, your social media persona, your polite smiles, lies a true self, pure and unchanging, waiting to be discovered. Dig deep, they say. Journal, meditate, buy this course, and you'll find it. Žižek challenges this notion head-on. The subject is neither my symbolic identity, nor my imaginary true self, nor the obscene real core of my fantasies, but the empty container which, like a knot, ties the three dimensions together. Consider your own life. When you're at work, you play the professional, measured and competent. At a party, you're the witty conversationalist. On Instagram, you're the curated version of yourself. Are any of these fake, or are they all you, shaped by context and choice? Žižek's point is logical. Your self isn't a fixed essence. It's a performance, a series of roles you adopt to navigate different circumstances. Take the self-help industry, worth over $40 billion globally in 2022, according to market research. It thrives on the promise that you're one book, one seminar, one app away from finding yourself. A secret your doctor won't tell you. What a load of crap. But notice how the goalposts keep moving. You finish one program, feel briefly enlightened, then the emptiness creeps back, and you're sold the next solution. Because the industry depends on your perpetual dissatisfaction. If you ever found your true self, you'd stop buying. The logic is simple. A satisfied customer is a lost customer. This isn't cynicism, it's economics. The true self is a product, not a destination, designed to keep you hooked on a cycle of consumption. Now let's get uncomfortable. What happens when you look inward? When you peel back the layers and confront what's beneath? Do you find a warm, authentic truth? Or something else, something chaotic, unsettling, empty? Žižek isn't someone who sugarcoats. I find something deeply repulsive in this idea of, let's look deep into yourself. If you really look deep into any person, you will discover dirty dreams, horrible things. He's not saying you're a monster. He's saying the self isn't a neat package of virtues, but a messy, contradictory void. Think about your own moments of introspection. Maybe you've sat alone, journal in hand, trying to find yourself, only to be hit with a flood of doubts, fears, or desires you can't reconcile. This void isn't just philosophical, it's observable. Consider the rise of anxiety disorders, up 25% globally since the 1990s, per the World Health Organization. Why? One factor is the pressure to become more unique, the pressure to act more like an authentic individual in a world that demands constant self-definition. Social media amplifies this, pushing you to craft a coherent brand of yourself. A brand that's authentic, unique, marketable, clickable. But the more you try to pin down who you are, the more elusive it feels. That's because the true self is a mirage. The void inside you is what fuels your search, and industries exploit it. Therapy apps like BetterHelp, valued at $1 billion, or mindfulness platforms like Headspace, with 70 million users, thrive on your quest to fill that void. They're not evil. They're just profiting from a lie you've been taught to believe. The real rebellion isn't filling the void. It's accepting it as the source of your freedom to create yourself anew each day. If there's no true self, can you ever be inauthentic? Let's flip the script. Every choice you make, even when you fake it, is a real expression of you. When you smile at a coworker you dislike, you're not lying. Okay, maybe you're not 100% honest in your behavior, but more importantly, you're choosing civility to keep the social fabric intact. Slavoj Žižek calls this sincere hypocrisy, and it's not a flaw. It's what makes society function. Think about a real-life scenario. A waiter who greets every customer with a smile, even on a bad day. Is he inauthentic, or is he performing a role that benefits everyone, including himself, by earning tips and maintaining harmony? Compare this waiter to a macho who's proud of keeping it real by snapping at others or dropping F-bombs every second. He thinks he's rejecting social norms. He thinks he's being his authentic self. But is he? Of course not. He's just wearing a different mask, the tough guy or alpha male, still performing for an audience, still craving approval. The logic is clear. There's no escaping performance. You're always playing a role, whether you like it or not. Capitalism has turned this performance into a gold mine. Authenticity is now a brand, a commodity sold to you through carefully curated facades. Take someone like a lifestyle vlogger with millions of followers. They film spontaneous moments, making coffee, doing yoga, just being themselves to sell you the idea of authenticity. These influencers aren't deceiving you. They're performing authenticity, and you're buying it with every like and follow, yet it's real in the sense that it's their chosen role. So we might even go as far as to say, you're never truly inauthentic. Why? Because there's no authentic self to betray. Every mask you wear, polite colleague, rebellious outsider, curated influencer, is a real choice, a real you in that moment, shaped by the social order you're living in. But does it mean that you're nothing but a slave to the social order? Does it mean that you can't be who you want to be simply because you're always influenced by the circumstances? Is there a way out of this trap? Maybe one way is to recognize the system that profits from your insecurity. Look at a stand-up comedian like Dave Chappelle. On stage, he's raw, unfiltered, authentic. But he's also meticulously crafting every word for impact. Is he fake? No, he's free. He knows he's performing and leans into it, creating himself in every punchline. That's why performers who acknowledge their roles, actors, comedians, politicians, romantic partners, brothers, sisters, tend to be much more satisfied and successful than those who strive for authenticity. They're free to invent themselves moment by moment. The system wants you to believe authenticity is your rebellion, but it's just another product. Because the truth isn't in shedding your roles, it's in owning them. Start choosing who you are, mask by mask, performance by performance. When you stop searching for you, hiding somewhere, and start creating yourself, what does it mean to act, to commit, to reinvent in a world that wants you distracted and docile. They've sold you the idea that to be more authentic, you have to peel away the masks to reveal a pure, unfiltered you. But what if authenticity isn't about subtraction? What if it's about creation, commitment, even destruction? Let's start with the darkest possibility, the one nobody wants to say out loud. Could the most authentic act be the one that rejects the social order entirely, like intentionally and willingly stepping out of life completely? Yes, I don't want to say the word, but you know what I mean. It's a brutal thought, but hear me out. Doing that would be a refusal to play the game, a final exit from the roles and expectations that define you. Philosophers like Albert Camus have grappled with this. He argued in The Myth of Sisyphus that such an act would be the ultimate confrontation with life's absurdity. It's not an endorsement, it's a provocation. So let's stay away from this dark but real thought and be more positive and constructive. What about losing yourself in something bigger? Work, love, obsession. Think of someone like Nikola Tesla, who poured his life into inventing, sleeping barely 4 hours a night, driven by a vision. Was he authentic? Not in the Instagram sense of live in the moment, but in a deeper, rawer way. He wasn't searching for a true self. He was creating, building, becoming through his work. There's many reasons to believe that people who dedicate themselves to a passion, artists, activists, scientists, are much more satisfied with their lives than those chasing self-discovery. Why? Because radical commitment shifts your focus from who am I to what am I building. It's not about finding yourself, it's about losing yourself in something that matters. That's where the system starts to lose its grip on you. But how can we develop a passion? What leads to passionate engagements? Slavoj Žižek drops a bombshell here. I think boredom is the beginning of every authentic act. Boredom opens up the space for new engagements. Without boredom, no creativity. Think about that. In a world obsessed with constant stimulation, endless scrolls, notifications, trends, boredom is a rebellion. It's the moment you stop consuming and start creating. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling, who conceived Harry Potter during a delayed train ride in 1990, stuck with nothing but her thoughts. No phone, no distractions, just boredom. That empty space led to a cultural phenomenon worth over $25 billion. The logic is simple. When you're bored, you're forced to confront the void we talked about. Instead of running from it, you fill it with something new. Ideas, inventions, art. But the system hates boredom. It's why your phone pings every 5 seconds, why Netflix autoplays the next episode, why algorithms keep you hooked. Most people will feel discomfort when left alone with their thoughts for just 10 minutes. Why? Because boredom forces you to think, to question, to create. And that's dangerous to a system that needs you distracted. In a world of curated authenticity where every post screams, "Look at my real life," doing nothing is revolutionary. It's not laziness, it's the spark of reinvention. When you let yourself sit in that uncomfortable stillness, you stop being a cog in the machine. You start building something, maybe a story, a project, or even a new way of living. That's the kind of authenticity the system can't sell you. It's not a product, it's a choice. Think of Vincent van Gogh, who painted masterpieces while battling mental illness, producing over 2,000 artworks in a decade. Was he authentic because he was true to himself? No, he was authentic because he leaned into his chaos, creating from it rather than hiding it. But even Van Gogh wasn't free of performance. His letters to his brother Theo reveal he was acutely aware of his legacy, his audience, his role as an artist. Authenticity isn't about rejecting masks. It's about actively choosing them, the which, the why, and the when. Think about someone like David Bowie, who reinvented himself endlessly. Ziggy Stardust, the Thin White Duke, the Berlin Recluse. Was he inauthentic because he wore so many masks? No, Bowie's shape-shifting wasn't deceit. It was creation. He crafted new selves, each one real in its moment. We've come full circle, and the truth is staring you in the face. You're a hamster to a market that sells you the wheel, designed to keep you running, consuming, doubting. The real freedom is in realizing you're not a fixed essence. You're a story, a creation, a series of masks you wear by choice. Every day, you get to decide who you are, what you build, how you perform. That's the rebellion they don't want you to discover. Whether you're a comedian owning the stage, an artist pouring your chaos into paint, or just someone sitting in boredom, daring to think, you're authentic not because you've found you, but because you've decided who to be. Now ask the hard question. If you dropped the hunt for authenticity, what would you do? Picture a stage with no script, no crowd, no lights, just silence. Who steps forward? What life do they build? As Jean-Paul Sartre wrote, existence precedes essence. We're not born with purpose, but with the burden and freedom to create one through our actions. Let boredom burn into vision. Because this isn't a journey of discovery. This isn't about finding yourself. It's about inventing yourself, moment by moment, choice by choice. It's an endless becoming, not a static being. Before you go, I've got a challenge. In the comments, write about the masks you'd like to choose, the ones you'd love to wear. You're ready to create, to perform, to live on your terms. And if this hit you, subscribe. Picture this as you close out, an hourglass. Every grain isn't just time, it's a version of you unchosen. How many grains will you let fall before you start choosing who to be? Don't answer now. Just don't forget to choose your mask and wear it like a crown.